Biodiversity in the ecosystem. We all know that biodiversity is important to humans for many reasons: ecological life support, and biodiversity provides a functioning ecosystems that supply oxygen, clean air and water, pollination of plants and pest control, wastewater treatment, and many ecosystem services. Next, we have the plants, an example of ecosystem. We all know that plants boost our moods, productivity, concentration, and creativity, reduce our stress and fatigue, and also clean indoor air by absorbing toxins and increasing humidity and producing oxygen. Also, add life to sterile spaces, offer privacy and reduce noise levels, and be therapeutic to care for. And next, we have insects. We all know that insects, they comprise over 80% of terrestrial species on Earth, and including the bees, ants, the butterflies, grasshoppers, and beetles. Insects drive the production of essential seeds, fruits, and vegetables via pollination and are necessary decomposers of organic matter. And I'll show you some video. What are the benefits of insects?
And create clean airspace to match that clean workspace with plants. Do plants really have health benefits? Can they boost your mood? Do they really clean the air around you? We're talking all that and more. Plants that you should have in your house. Number 1, spider plant. This has to be one of the easiest plants to find and to take care of. Even if you have a knack for killing plants, the spider plant might be right for you. This plant is really cool looking and prefers lots of bright, indirect sunlight. This one is great if you have pets at home as it's non-toxic and very resilient. Make sure to water this one a few times a week. According to one study from NASA, spider plants are fantastic at getting rid of formaldehyde from the air. This study was conducted under extremely controlled conditions, so it might not be as effective as the study claims, but it can't hurt to keep one close to your workspace to make sure you get the most of its cleansing health benefits. This plant is also said to remove carbon monoxide and xylene. Fun fact, spider plants will grow spiderettes that you can snip off and repot to create more spider plants. Give them to your friends and family or grow your own collection. You won't believe this next plant, but before we get to it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you never miss any updates from Bestie. Number 2, snake plant. Spiders and snakes? Oh my! Don't worry, we're still talking about plants, and the snake plant is another really easy plant to take care of. It likes to be on the drier side, so you shouldn't need to water it every day, and it can take a wide range of light levels, so it should be okay in most rooms. As long as that room gets some sunlight, you'll be good to go. This plant looks really cool and is said to release oxygen into the air along with removing harmful chemicals like formaldehyde, xylene, benzene, toluene, and trichloroethylene. Number 3, chrysanthemum. If you want to add a splash of color to your living room or kitchen, chrysanthemums or mums are a wonderful choice. They come in many colors, including white, orange, yellow, and pink. Pet owners beware, this one is toxic to both cats and dogs. While inside, keep these plants damp and in the sunlight. When the weather is warm, you can plant them outside too. Mums are at the top of the list when it comes to air purification. They're said to remove common toxins like formaldehyde, xylene, ammonia, and benzene. However, they're only working when the flowers are in bloom, so you've got about 6 weeks of purification. Number 4, ficus or weeping fig. According to NASA's Clean Air study, the weeping fig is one of the top contenders for cleansing airborne toxins like formaldehyde, xylene, and toluene, which can build up from carpet and furniture cleaners or stain removers. Unfortunately, this one is also toxic to cats and dogs, so keep them away from your pets. On the upside, they're pretty easy to care for. Just keep them out of direct sunlight, away from any drafts, and allow the soil to get pretty dry before watering again. They can get pretty big too, which can be a plus or a negative depending on your living situation. Number 5, dracaenas. This plant is perfect for those of you who want something a little different in your home. In fact, you can choose from over 40 different types of dracaenas. These plants are credited with removing harmful toxins like trichloroethylene, which can come from household paint strippers, varnish removers, and even adhesives. Pet owners beware, this is another one that's toxic for your four-legged friends. This plant needs a medium amount of sunlight, so make sure you put it in a room that gets a few solid hours. They can also grow anywhere from 8 to 10 feet, so make sure you've got space for this one. Number 6. English ivy. Here's one that's really easy to care for, and you can keep it in the bathroom of all places. This one is especially great if you like to dye your hair at home, because English ivy is said to reduce levels of trichloroethylene, formaldehyde, xylene, ammonia, and benzene, which can be found in a lot of salon products. It's also great for the bathroom because this plant is said to help remove mold, too. This is another plant that is unfortunately toxic to your cats and dogs. So if you do have some furry friends at home, make sure this plant is completely out of reach. Give it a generous amount of water and at least a few hours of direct sunlight daily. Although it should be able to handle lower levels of light, which is part of what makes this plant so easy to take care of. Number 7. Peace lily. It's relaxing just thinking about the peace lily. They're beautiful plants that offer up stunning white flowers when in bloom. This plant is known for having a high transpiration rate. This means that when you water it, the water actually works overtime and helps bring moisture back into the room. This reduces dust in the room and can calm any irritants to your eyes, nose, and mouth. One study shows that plants like this can reduce dust by 20%. Cool, huh? This one takes a little more work to keep happy, but if you're up to the challenge, you'll be rewarded with beautiful lilies. This one is also toxic for pets and requires morning sunlight only. You can mist the leaves and make sure to keep the soil nice and damp. Number 8. Aloe vera. This is one of the easiest plants to care for on our list, and one of the most giving plants too. Aloe vera is where the soothing gel of aloe comes from, and it's an instant remedy for burns and wound healing, along with skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, insect bites, and blisters. It's great to keep in your kitchen for quick relief of burns.
If insects suddenly morphed into large beings and decided to wage war on us, there's no doubt that humans would lose. We'd simply be crushed by their sheer numbers. There are an estimated 10 quintillion individual insects on Earth. That's a 1 followed by 19 zeros. So compared with our population of about 7 billion, these invertebrates outnumber us by more than 1 billion to 1. Their astounding numbers exist at the species level as well. There are more than 60,000 vertebrate species on the planet, but the class of insects contains 1 million known species, and many others that haven't been classified. In fact, these critters make up approximately 75% of all animals on Earth. So what's their secret to success? Insect abundance comes down to many things that together make them some of the most adaptable and resilient creatures, beginning with their impressive ability to breed. Many species can produce hundreds of offspring within their lifetimes. Most offspring will die, but more than enough will survive into adulthood to reproduce. Offspring also mature very rapidly, so the cycle of reproduction resumes quickly and can occur over and over again in a short time. These numbers mean that as a class, insects harbor a tremendous amount of genetic diversity. The different species contain a wealth of genetic data that give them the necessary adaptations they need to thrive in a range of environments across the planet. Even some of the most extreme environments are in bounds. Flat bark beetles can live at -40 degrees Fahrenheit. Sahara desert ants can venture out when surface temperatures exceed 155 degrees. And some bumblebees can survive 18,000 feet above sea level. Insect exoskeletons also work like body armor, protecting insects against the outside world and helping them cope with habitats that other creatures can't. Even their small size, which we might see as a disadvantage, is something they use to their benefit. Because most species are so tiny, millions of insects can inhabit a small space and make use of all the available resources within it. This means they can occupy hundreds of different niches across ecosystems. Some insects survive by eating the roots, stems, leaves, seeds, pollen, and nectar of specific plants. Others, like wasps, make use of live insects by paralyzing the victims and laying their eggs inside. so that when the hatchlings emerge, they can eat their way out and get nourishment. Mosquitoes and biting flies feed on blood, taking advantage of this unusual resource to ensure their survival. And a whole bunch of other insects have built a niche around feces. Flies lay their eggs there, and some beetles even build large balls out of animal dung, which they eat and use as accommodation for their eggs. And then there's the insect's mighty power of metamorphosis. This trait not only transforms insects, but also helps them maximize the available resources in an ecosystem. Take butterflies. In their larval caterpillar form, they chomp hungrily through leaves at a rapid rate to help them grow and spin cocoons. But when they emerge as butterflies, these insects feed only on flower nectar. Metamorphosis means the larvae and adults of one species will never compete for the same resource, so they successfully share an ecological niche without limiting their own success. This process is so efficient that an incredible 86% of insect species undergo complete metamorphosis. We're big and they're small, so it's easy to forget that these critters are moving in their millions all around us all the time. But examine almost any patch of ground and you're sure to find them there. Their numbers are immense and their success is unmatched. We may have to accept that it's insects, not us, that are the true conquerors of the planet.